Hello? Hello. Everybody, happy Monday. Welcome to the start of another week with Christmas paraphernalia. It's that time of the year, you see. And, well, I hope you're all keeping very well. I had a weekend, yes. But you look terrible, Murph, right? Yeah, thanks. Jesus, I got a bad old knockout, is right. I'm going to get another absolute knockout because I went into the kitchens like, you couldn't mind terribly keeping it down a bit. And the look I got now, do you know, there'll be repercussions. But you're all very welcome in for tonight's flight. Welcome to France as we continue on with our 10-part journey that follows the rise and fall of Napoleon. The story shifts as we leave the beautiful island of Corsica. We now arrive to the cold stone corridors of France. Now, I love France, and I've changed the weather to make it look all snowy and stuff, but it's cold, but it's really, really nice. Now, last week, we were introduced to the boy shaped by the mountains, revolts, and the family turmoil. Tonight, we meet the boy the French called the Little Foreigner. This episode, well, it's all about upheaval, transformation, and the exile within exile. We follow a young Napoleon. As he leaves his island behind, he steps in to a language he can barely speak and enters a world of strict discipline, rigid routines, English, Murph, right? Aristocratic classmates, we'll get there, who see him as an outsider from the very moment he arrives. We're going to trace the path that forged him, the classrooms, the courtyards, the gardens he turned into fortresses, and the place where the first sparks of ambition began to flare. Tonight we fly across the landscapes that witnessed his earliest struggles and also his first victories, but not on the battlefields. In the schoolrooms, libraries and a snow-covered yard where a boy learned to command. This is where the soldier begins. This is where the outsider becomes dangerous. And this is part 2, Brienne, the outsider, as we shall ramble into our beloved aircraft tonight. We're taking on that of the Carenado, the Cessna CT-210N, as they call it, the Centurion, as we fly across here. We're going to be leaving Autun as we head up to Brienne, and then it's over to Paris, landing at Orly Airport. So flight time similar to what we did last week, right? And I'm looking forward to it. Haven't flown this machine in a while. We were to fly it some weeks ago, and then I changed my mind and we flew a Bonanza, you know. So yeah, looking forward to this one. And do you know what's fascinating about this now, right? The whole thing, the school, the routines, the schedule. Up at silly o'clock, prayer and work and dodgy food and schoolyards. It hasn't really changed over the years, and well, we're going to learn a little bit more about it, and also what it would have been like for this young Italian fella, you know, Napoleon, rambling over here to see what things were all about. So yeah, looking forward to this one. Do you like my t-shirt? It's lovely, isn't it? Gibbo, I'm wearing the t-shirt. Christmas stock. Right? It snows in the inside as well. Dead handy, you know. These should be marketed at those who suffer, you know, dandruff or something. You know, where the flaky skin. Oh, it's the t-shirt. It's the pattern on the shirt. Pattern. Right? I'm just saying. It'd be brilliant. But yes, it's all new gear on the way from flightsimtees.com. Do be sure to check it out. The perfect Christmas gift. Yes. Sometimes this is all I wear. Get a good hard mental image of that now, lads. Right, as we knuckle down into a night of history and learning and dodgy imagery. Yes. But anyway, you're looking well. Did I mention? That's the sound of a beautiful airport ramp. And a like homing engine. Slightly under pressure. A bit like myself. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was here. So Friday night, right? This is brilliant. I left you in good form, you know. Now, it took a lot out of me. I'll have to mute from now and again. I'm still coughing. But, you know, I was relatively okay during the stream. Now, I started, you know, we kind of went over at around 11 o'clock. Well, anyway, whatever move I made that night, oh, Jesus, then, the shivers, the fever, it hit. I could not get warm, could not get the heat into me whatsoever. I put on the socks, extra jocks, trousers, t-shirts, hoodies, the whole shebang, lads. Put the hoodie up over myself, and I was still shaking like a mad idiot. The missus was going to, well, I reckon she did kill me several times. I was in a hoop, right? Got up on Saturday, didn't know who I was or how I got here. Scuttled around for a bit. I've black ink on me finger, but it's on me middle finger, so I can't show you it without being rude. Right? I'll show you, look. There! Just see it! That's a big 10-4, good buddy. That's what I'm up against. But I did that today. But on Saturday, I was kind of just like, I felt, you know, your man, God rest him, Ozzy. Right. And then yesterday, it kind of broke a little bit, Saturday night into Sunday. Rough night, but I slept head to toe. Grease me up, woman, covered in Vicks. Brilliant. And the secret is, you put Vicks on your balls of your feet. Your feet now. The balls of you put Vicks on the balls of your feet, and then you put your socks back on. Sleep like, you know, something sleeping. And I had a lovely old sleep, so I did. And then, what else did I do? Oh, that was it. Yeah. Watched like extended, with a full friggin' run of Star Trek over the weekend. You know, The Next Generation, for it is the most superior Star Trek. And then, oh, jeez, that was it. Last night, watched a bit of Star Trek, and do you know what I did yesterday, and I shouldn't have? I was trying to move everything from the VPS onto a local machine here. Shagged everything. If you noticed that all the bots stopped working yesterday, guilty. Jesus. That's what I did, right? That's what I did. And I had to unfix it. No, wait, I had to fix it. And then I watched Star Trek First Contact. Then I went to bed, and I got a lovely night's sleep, got up this morning, showered, Turn the temperature down low. It is the only thing to do. Cold shower in the morning, lads. You'd hear the strange voice from within. You know, when the water first hits you with a cold shower. Right, wakes you up. And then I've been kind of messing around here for today. Getting back into the swing of things. So yes, that was my weekend. The man flu is retreating. We have him on the run now. It's brilliant. And well, we're back into the swing of things. So you're all very welcome in. Hope you had a far nicer weekend. The weather currently, just thought to give you an update. It's 4 degrees outside Murph Manor. 4 degrees. And there's rain and everything on the way. So it's it's a week to stay indoors if you can, or for as long as possible, and just go flight simming. And of course today, yes, we're seeing all the previews coming out of PMDG's updated 2024 version of their 737-800. Some mixed reviews, some mixed kind of they're charging for right. So don't know. We'll see when it releases. I am looking forward to it. I do miss the old 737s, you know. Give out, right? Brilliant. But anyway, yeah, Jesus, only written. I'll read that back. You know, it should be after 9 o'clock when I'm on air. But yeah, the PMDG stuff, lads. What did you think? You know, how did you catch the man flu, Murph? These days, you never leave the house. Oh, infiltration, I'd say. Yes. You know, we left the door open for too long, I suppose. And all me sides are sore from the coughing and the... listen, terrible, terrible bad, you know. And I will say this, right? I am, like... I'm kind of a big deal, but, like, when I'm sick, I'm, like, the most demanding person, right? You've no idea. You'd have to... Like, she's going to need therapy, God love her. She'll be in at some stage now, you know. She's aged maybe 9 years in the last 2 days. I am hard work when I'm not well, because I don't do anything. Take a tablet. No, I'm not taking tablets. Take a thingy...
I haven't aged.
Huh? No, you haven't. You're fantastically brilliant in every single... She looked after me now over the last few days, lads.
But I haven't aged.
What am I like as...
You're worse than a baby.
What do you mean I'm worse than a baby?
You are worse than...
I'm a terrible patient.
You are.
I am a terrible patient. Terrible patient. You're a great nurse, though, you know. Hello, nurse. Do you come here often? Oh, wait, you live here. And then you laugh and you have... And then you laugh and then you cough again. It's brilliant, you know. Right, anyway, where was... I was over here, look. But it's great to be back. I didn't miss anything. Well, I was going to stream yesterday, but, like, you know, I'd be like... Well, I couldn't talk. You know, well, I could, but, like... I sounded even worse than I do now. Huh?
Oh, Jesus.
Worser is a word. I've just invented it now. It's in the dictionary. Worser. And come here, when you're lying at night time and you're breathing, there's this kind of weird hazy thing coming out of my chest, you know. It's like a scene out of Aliens or something. And it's me making those noises. Like, jeez, the cat is looking at me going, yeah. Any minute now, I'm taking all your stuff. Right. But anyway, we'll jump into it, lads. Be grand. Don't get sick. And if you do, don't be like me. Be the other guy. You know, be nice to your surroundings and do what you're told. But yeah, ladder than Vicks, get a good hair, and it shines too, and it makes your eyes water and everything. Terribly sexy stuff. But anyway, moving on. Who's here? Look, Cracker. Happy Monday. Airlock Doc is in the house. He says, I know I speak for everyone when I say that we felt really bad when Murph was sick the weekend. Yes, we felt bad because it meant that Mrs. Two-Tone had to put up with him. I'm sure she could have used some cheese with his whine. Oh, very good. Now, Gibbo made me nearly, like, cough up a lung the other day. How sick are you, Murph? And I know the punchline, and it's hilarious. David Bay, good evening. Vacuum is here. Eamon, 1973, you're very welcome aboard. CP65, good day to you all. Viper Strike is here. Did a bush trip over the Rocky Mountain. Ooh, nice. Super Tie is mostly lurking. Good evening. Fryer10, welcome aboard. Wicked Lumberjacks is here. Happy Monday. Commander Balosh, tier 1 for 12 months. It's a whole year, man. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. Vacuum 7. Wait, who? Fierce Wolf is looking fierce and wolfy. You're very welcome aboard. Up to down person, Mrs. TPHI has rambled in. Good to see you, Mrs. Creo, a very good evening to you and all in County Mayo. Let me see. Apache is here for 35 streams in a row. That's commitment. Yes. Good to see you, buddy. Retriever Neil is in the house. Welcome in. Old Veteran 965. Scott, happy Monday, y'all. How's all in Texas, Scott? Balut, hello. Crafty Tigers is here. Ryan, good to see you, buddy. 26 months. Thank you very, very much indeed. Happy weekend. Is it your weekend now, Ryan? Jesus. Where's this now? I just saw a t-shirt. That'd be great for you. Wait, what? Tima, good evening. Mech Manser is here. Gar Gaming, hello to everyone in County Galway. You're very welcome aboard. Stick Figure, happy December indeed. Good to see you, buddy. Spitfire RF 100 is here in the chat. Good to see you, man. Grimmy McGinn, good to see you. Grimmy, how's she cutting, man? APO Inspector is here for 85 streams in a row. Happy Monday, Murph and chat. The weekend, well, it's coming back. Yes, it is. It's good to see you. Let me see. Toto2495. Cranking up the Toto. Hello to you and the missus. Hope you're well. Krabby1. Well, hello. Gunho Guy is here top of the morning. Robert J56. Happy Monday to you. Cy120 rambles in. Daddy Plump. Good evening. Hope you're well. Tarnish Mossman from Liverpool. You're very welcome in. Weebles. Good to see you. Kozaki Flyer. Welcome aboard, man. Hope you're keeping very well. Shuffle Shoes. Shuffles in. AJH John. Happy Monday. Idle Cutoff. Calling from the Cam.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Calling from the bridge of Cam. You can't say the bridge of Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary. Good to see you. Filthy, thank you very much indeed. A tier 1 for 44 months. You very, very much indeed, buddy. Two Dogs, greetings from Wisconsin. Hello from Tipperary. You're looking well. Piper's in the house. Soaring AJ. AJH, man. Muse fan bursts in the door with a farm. He says, how is mad jokes is. Happy Monday. Good to see you, Muse. Hope you're well. Wicked Lumberjacks. Anyone know what the cruising speed for Murph's chosen chariot is for today? 150-ish. Give or take. It's not 190. The mine's do. He was only pulling our legs. Behave. Norse Viking, happy Monday. Hope you're well. Cyrus T, the man of teal, has rambled aboard. Good to see you, Cyrus. Hope you're keeping well. Photos by Kev is here. Good evening, Kev. You're looking well. Muse fan says, Jesus, he has a Christmas t-shirt on one day into December. Unsubscribe. Now listen, wait now. That still works, look. I'm terribly pale looking. Oh, Jesus, what? I forgot I had that button. I was looking for stuff over here. I didn't put them in.
Oh, behave.
Will you remind me I need to do something to the gadget in a while? Just say, Murph, gadget in a while. Later on, you know. But yes, Jesus. Discord Pets channel. I saw the dog. Anna, brilliant. Let me see. Backlight is here. Good to see you. Voicey, welcome aboard. Chris Van Halen is here. Welcome in. To keep it, Tom, 37 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, Tom. Good to see you, buddy. Adam Controls. Bonjour and bonsoir. Mon ami. Oué, le café, s'il vous plaît. It's good to see Adam. Hope you're well. Gibbo's here. He says, is it safe to come out and play? Napoleon night. Can Gibbo leave yous with an appropriate pun? Of course he can. Jesus, that's brilliant though, isn't it? Come here. Isn't he very good? Gibbo also thinks the world is flat. Now, let me see. Malky, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Bellbro is in the house. Now, where are we at? One Fly Air, happy Monday. Rave Automata. I hope it's a long t-shirt. You know. Long enough. Wait. Jimbo Stream, good evening. Did you turn the heating on in the Skoda? Not yet. Todd Trammell, thank you very much indeed. 14 months. Cheers. Hope all is well. Now, let me see. Can you scuttle? Oh, wait. Can you still scuttle if you have trotters? I'm sure we do. That's a dose of Black Death. Wait, what? A small spot on a small hand. I can't show you the way I want it. Sorry to hear you're unwell, Wicked Lumberjacks. You're immediately back in the will. You should have had a good stew to cure your ills. You're back out of the will. I mean, that's like record timing. It was almost like one of those rotating doors. You're in, no, you're out again. Jesus. I've multicoloured on my finger from installing my wife's new printer. Thanks be to goodness I finished that sentence correctly, Scott. How's the printer working? QC Frank, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Sounds like poor advice. Right, don't know if that's the best Star Trek. Shut up, Wesley. The line must be drawn here. This far, no further. We've been Star Trek out of it now, you know. Zybok Doc is calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. You're looking well. 10 in a row, buddy. Cheers. Brilliant. For some reason, it keeps tossing me out of my plane. Oh, Jesus. Jack Wings, good evening. Stu Snape, welcome aboard, buddy. Hope you're well. Murph, it's after 9 p.m. somewhere. Yeah, we'll get away with it. People actually thought they weren't going to charge for it. Are they new to PMDG? Right? I mean, if you even think about it and remember that you thought about it, they'll charge you for that privilege. Now, just let that be a warning to you. Kill Switch, good evening. Eddie is in the house. Good evening. Don't give us your cold. I'll try not to super tie. Only when you're sick. Yeah. Ozymandias, good evening. Do what you're told, Murph. I will. Right, we're nearly there. Did you apply the... Jesus. David, good to see you. Velo is in the house. Flying Tritz is here. Muttley, thank you very much indeed for 30 months. Cheers, man. I appreciate all the support, my guy. Rico Flight is here. Good to see you, my dude. Hope all is well. Happy Monday. That's what the Carenado website said, right? Mrs. Toto is here. She says, good evening, Murph, and a big hello to all the lovely... to the lovely Mrs. Two-Tone. Mrs. Two-Tone. Mrs. Toto says hello. Oh, hi. I don't even get it. Oh, hi. Bloody hell. See you women folk. Dangerous. I don't even get an oh.
Show them your hair. No? Your new hairstyle. No?
So I woke up this morning with denial. Not in... I have to be careful what I say. I woke up this morning with denial. And I said to myself, right, I'm going to start going this way instead of... Usually what I do, it's a very cunning hairstyle. In the morning, I put water and it goes that way. And then I get to the front of it and I just go kind of that way, right? That is how one styles their head. This way and then that way. Well, today I said, hang on. I went this way twice and left it there. Now, I looked like, not unlike, Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Titanic before he froze. You know, the hair all, but good looking, you know. And I said nothing, right? My dad was in here. He's like, your hair's looking good, fella. I said, yes, good looking guys. And then the missus saw it. What did you do to your hair?
Yeah, but like, hold on. He's in denial as well because he has...
Well, it's in the friggin' jeans, isn't it?
Almost like a flat hair.
I've lovely hair.
You're really in denial. Oh, baby. Like,
if I shave my head, I will look like Paddy out of Emmerdale. Imagine being...
What's his name in Greece?
Danny Zuko?
No, the other guy.
Why is it always like that? You know the guy in Greece? Danny? No, the other guy. The other guy was a big, huge star as well. What was his name? Balls. What was his name? Someone, quick. Look more like Leonardo the Turtle. Shag off, Adam. Right, moving on. Wales, thank you very much indeed for subscribing for 9 months. Cheers, buddy. And Jesus, JG Mathis. JG Mathis with 1,000 bits. Thank you very, very much indeed for your generosity, kind sir. Very kind, throwing his bits around. Paddy No, it's not. What's your man's name? Out of Greece. Not Danny, the other guy. You know, it comes up in the credits. The other guy. Someone surely knows it. Anyway, moving on. DeWolf is here. Good to see you. Got my free flight sim teas today. Ooh, nice. Cut your six-pack. Excellent. Murph, Gadget, it'll be 20 minutes into the intro before he sees this. Oh, good man. Come on, Adam. Brilliant. Right, we're catching up here now, lads. Sun Jammer's here. Welcome in. Printer is working amazing. Surprise me. Something computer working that I installed. Oh, Jesus. The start of a comb over. Wait, what? Where is Wesley? Inspecting the photon torpedo tubes from the inside. Why bother with the head? Wait, what? Look out for the frying pan. The Bobby Charlton look. Is it? Pyrotech, good to see you. I feel bad for Two-Tone Jr. Who asked you? Murph got a transplant from his leg to his head. Jesus. Larry's here, good to see you. Good man, Larry. Sorting it all out. What did Larry do? Jesus. Why is Murphy raging already? It's only 8:30. Larry, you're very kind for gifting a tier 1 sub to Wolf. You're very kind. And check wake turbulence is off. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Jesus, lads. Look. It's all things to do. Kubi Montana is here. Welcome aboard. Joe Mack, good evening. Uniform Goose, good day, Goose. Hope you're well. Angels15 is here. Northland Air, welcome in, Northland Air. Joe Mack, good evening. Black Sheep Jean, looked into the future and I saw Two-Tone Family having a very Merry Christmas Day while Black Sheep Jean was stalking in the background. Jesus. Good afternoon. Zappel is here. Andrew Gilbert, good evening. Hope you're well. Napoleon, didn't he invent the tree-flavoured ice cream, vanilla, strawberry and chocolate? Wait, what? Mark Gaming is in the house. Corporal Carnage is here. CP, welcome aboard. Let me see. Fibro, good evening. Newfoundland is in the house. Hello from Newfoundland. We're heading your neck of the woods on Friday night. Visualize, good evening. Sourdough Man, welcome. Captain Sickbag, welcome aboard. Good to see you, buddy. Who else come in the door? Mike Coffey is here. Gare, is it? Welcome in. Is it Gare? You're very welcome aboard. Mav Wings, good to see you, Mav. Aviation A320 is in the house. Aviation 1001, good evening. Jace Ward is here, and Sir DLW. You're all very welcome in, ladies and the gentlepersons. And right, will we get started? Let's see what happens. Murph got a hang on, wait. Jokes? I think I've lovely hair. Listen, right. When you get a little bit older, it'll happen to you. And if it doesn't, I don't want to talk to you, because it's happening to me, and it's very hard to, get over the... Look, mother of God, right, right, anyway, listen, if that doesn't upset you, let's come over here, look. Let me see, Indiana, is it? Indiana, good to see you, welcome in. Gary, anything but late for dinner, welcome aboard. Right, lads. There's buttons happening now before we even figure out. Empire Kicking is in the house with a raid and a resub. Empire, my guy. Thank you very, very much indeed. Good to see you, buddy. How's she cutting? How are things? Now, let me see. Wake turbulence. Yes, we want that off. Learned that one today. Yeah, you want to make sure wake turbulence is turned off, right? But yes, right. Anyway, shall we get started? So, we're here in Carenado's CT210. And to be fair, it's not a bad little machine, this, right? Not a bad little machine. As we shall get ourselves configured to see what happens, right? So we shall have a quick look around. Now, unfortunately, this machine... Give me sim freeze. That's interesting. We're off to a flying start, friends. We are off to a flying start. The sim has completely frozen. When was the last time we did that? Is this right? I mean, it was grand, and now it's like, we're not playing anymore. Oh yeah, she's proper shagged. And yet we have sounds. Most unusual. Jesus. Right, we'll do it the old-fashioned way. We'll introduce it to, nuclear energy and kill it. Very strange, isn't it?
Can I get a refund?
Actually, now while I'm here, this could be... How do we do this now? Because if that is... Let me think, lads. If that's one of these streamed aircraft, the old Carenado, right? Is there a way we can fix the crappy sounds? Let's see if we can do some science while all my buttons are going absolutely bananas. Hang on a second. Look, what's going on here? Mine did that the other night while sitting on the ground for a while. Very strange. Weebles, thank you very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Right, packages, stream packages. So we're going to come down here and look for Carenado, right? FS24.
60%
aircraft.
of the time, it works
every time. Now, we're looking for CT210. I don't see it there, do you? Right, community. No. Official. One store, Carenado Bar. No, Jays, I don't have it. So this is all streamed, right? So what I'm looking for is the CT210. Let's see if we can find it. We found it. Right, get into that folder, content, sim objects, airplanes, Carenado, common, sound AI. See this? Good luck to you. If I just call this something else, right? Now let's see what happens, because that should, in effect, kill its sounds, or we get a sim crash, one or the other. But yeah, it's Carenado. There's no telling if the engine sound is your aircraft or someone else's. Correct? Yeah, correct. Some update 4 must be around the corner. I do believe so. To be fair, we don't get many freezes, so yeah. How can we all flying start and you're still on the ground? Listen, It'll be grand. Before you know it, we're going to be airborne now. And it won't take much, but I do need to reset on my weather again. Bother. But anyway, I'll show you where we're going while this is loading. So, we are starting off down here at Autun Airfield, Lima Foxtrot, Quebec Foxtrot. And we're going to be heading up to the north east, up to Brienne. And to cover the story here, and we'll go into detail from Napoleon. Himself and his brother Joseph, they were sent first to Autun, to that school, to learn how to speak French. They had Italian dialect. They didn't have much French at all. So they learned how to speak correctly in Autun. So it was like a boarding school. And then after that, they rambled up then to Brienne, right? Or maybe only one of them did. We'll learn about this in the story. And Brienne was more like your, school. They teach you all sorts of stuff and the subjects. I'm going to learn about the subjects that he had to learn and study, right? And then a little bit later on in life, still quite young, he ended up over in Paris at the École Militaire, or, École Militaire, which is effectively military school. And Paris Orly is, funny enough, the closest airport to it, right? So we'll be doing all of that in our flight tonight, and we're covering that story as we fly. But the reason why we want to go for kind of snow on the ground, well, there's a good reason for that, because one particular year during his studies, it was extremely cold, loads of sun, and was something, or loads of snow, and something interesting happened that would very much kind of impressed those around him. And kind of led to his later greatness, you see. 98 Vulcan, thank you very much indeed for 20 months. Cheers, buddy. What a ledge. Good morning. Did you make it home okay? You did. So, right, we just need to allow this thing to load back up and then we'll get going. Flight time today, we'll probably do it in an hour 40. It's not particularly long. But yeah, between the 2-second delay I had starting the stream and the 3 and 2/4 minutes, 2.5 minute intro, and then of course the CTD. We're running behind schedule by about 11 seconds, which isn't bad, about 11 seconds. So we'll get it all up and running here now as well. By the way, do you know when you start the sim at the moment and then you get this freeze for about a couple... Does anyone else get that? Or is that just me? Because I know it's not happening with Sim Update 4 now. Whatever the devil it is, we don't know. Whatever it is. So let me see. LFQF, go! In you go, you big Jesse. And we're going to get ourselves set up down here, right into the thick of it. Set his departure with the engines on the ground. Shut down. And we'll do one of those. Time of day. Yeah, horse are back. And I'm hoping our snow and weather is going to be good. Time of day, lads. I'm going to aim for about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Right? And you guys get it as well, really? Okay. So it's not a Murphy problem, Let me see now. Rusius, welcome in. What is the name of the tablet on the screen? So this is Garmin Pilot. It's a real-world EFB, and you can connect it to your simulator using flight events. And it works really, really well. Navigraph is still king when it comes to flight simulation, but I like using the real-world EFB stuff, just in case I ever get a wild idea, to do some real-world flying again. Do you know what I mean? Right, we're going to hop... Oh, Jesus, we can't. Hop out now for a second. Get rid of that and hop in. Right. Now. I wonder if that fixed me sounds. Right, anyway, welcome to the machine. Before we go, settings. 2 of them. And let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to start off at the beginning. Mixture rich. Prop goes full. Remove this guy. Park and brake is set. Fuel tanks are set both to on. Landing gear is in the down position. Flaps are in the up position. Battery and alternator can come on. Get some lights in here for the equation as well. Nav, beacon light, auxiliary booster pump. Looking for fuel flow. The needle barely moves, but it moves. 1, 2, 3. We shall say clear prop and go for a start. Oh yeah. Oh heck yeah. Alright, we got a good start in the engine. Avionics master switch located down here left hand side. Go ahead and turn this guy on. And as our aircraft starts to warm up, we'll get our systems into this situation. And we're going to start getting out of here real soon now. Alright, you made it home. Nice little 1900 kilometer drive. Dude, that's amazing. And also best regards to Mrs. Vulcan. And do please give her our best. It's just you, Murphy. The sim works perfectly for the rest of us. Thank you, Visualize. Right, reset your barrow, reset your directional indicator. We'll turn on N1. And let me see here. We're going to OK. Enter, enter, and enter. Come on now, you devil. Yes, yes, yes. Altitude select. We go for an initial 3,000. Now, we're already at about 1,000 up over the... we're 1,000 feet already up. Why isn't this working? Interesting. You know, to make sure while we're sitting here. Defrosters and whatnot. So the weather... It's custom set. I imagine we're going to be okay. You know. Jeez, the FPS are really down. Let's have a look now. Is Join FS working? Do. No. Kill it with fire. Is this working? No. Kill it with fire. We'll do, let me see. We're tracking anyway. And we're going to do one of those. And we're going to do one of these. Nice. Okay, why are my avionics no longer working? Anyone else have these problems? Right, let's give them a moment to go through what they have to do, right? So while they're thinking about life, we're going to start moving here, lads. So let me see, taxi light coming on, pitot heat coming on. Other lights and all that jazz are fairly okay for now. So we're going to come off the brakes. Easy now. I'm going to... Oh, H225. Someone's midlife wreck. Someone's is absolutely, you know, mad. That thing has like the... Sim, what's going on, man? Right, okay, she's all calm now, lads. Alright, we go for notch flaps. You're getting black screens on your GPS. That's never good. Okay, we got our GPS is working. Now, let's come down to yaw. We go landing light. Lots of stutters. This is unusual. Haven't got these in a while. But anyway, I imagine it's just down to the sheer count of aircraft. Let's get up and airborne, right? We've gone through all our pre-flight checks. Pretend, but it'd be grand. As In a Boxman rumbles in. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, so power coming in. Mixture full. And off the brakes. Easy now, Jemima. Little bit of wind. Airspeed alive. Alton, hope you're well, bud. There's 60 knots. You're going to be looking for around 85 with this. The Centurion is a lot heavier than your standard kind of Cessna. Yupsie daisy. Alrighty, we got a positive rate of climb. We're indicating. Gear coming up. Do you ever see the gear retracting this thing? Absolutely mad, isn't it? But very pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, nice climb. Coming up on around 300 feet. Go ahead and bring those flaps in. And we'll adjust our power here now in a moment. But this is purely just getting ourselves up and at them as we kind of move around. Now, we are completely heading the wrong way, but that's quite okay. We'll fix all that in a moment. So let's have a look here now. Easy. Okay, things should be starting to calm down a little bit. We're going to come over here. We're going to go, as we call, direct. And it's going to LFFN. LFFN. Go ahead and enter. Thank you. And CDI is already on. We're going to come to our autopilot. Flight director coming on. Autopilot. Let's go to nav mode. And the aircraft will actually engage it. Super. Okay, altitude, we were saying 3,000. We're just coming up onto 3,000 now. Let me see if we V-speed this, 1,500 feet a minute. Let's bring that back to about 1,000. We have plenty of power in this aircraft, as you can see with the speed starting to climb now. But at this stage, I just want to calm it all back. So we're going to drop manifold pressure to about 30 and drop our RPM to about 24. Calm it all down. We're about to level off at 3,000 feet, and the aircraft is arcing now to go direct to our first destination. Temperatures and pressures all within normal limits, except for RPM, a little bit high. There we go. Not too worried about the mixture just yet. At 3,000 feet, we can't do much. We will turn on our weather radar. We are getting all sorts of stuff. And that's with the snow on the ground, right? Srap, good to see you, buddy. And thank you very much for your 28 months, man. Jesus. Flinicky, good to see you. Okay, so there are snow showers and that in the way, but we're just kind of... That's a nice looking sight now. We're just going to cruise here for the moment and figure everything out as the aircraft settles down. Now, see that speed creeping up? We're going to aim for about 150 on this one, lads. 3,000, we might have to go a little bit higher, so let's come back down to our altitude, and let's put in... we put in 4 for the crack, so we'll put in 4, and we'll V-speed this guy up 500 feet a minute. That'll bleed off some of that speed, and as we do that, friends, well, if you're currently flying along with us, if you're on the Xbox, press 1, PC pilots, press 2, if you're using JoinFS or indeed Skynet, it's number 3, and if you think me Christmas lights are only deadly, you press number 4, and we shall start off tonight's festivities with some tunage. It didn't work. I have to do this one first. That's better. Hello, Fireflies. Welcome to the Flying Circus. We live stream Monday to Friday, 2000 Zulu time, right here. All right. So we have 22 on the PC, 2 on console, 2 on Skynet. Nice. Linny Bobbins, thank you very much indeed for 10 months. 'Tis yourselves. Good to see you, missus. Hope you're well. Right, our cowl flaps are open. We can do with closing those. Yup, you divil you. Or down, you divil you. There we go. Cowls are closed. Speed 150. Let's ease off that manifold pressure. Let me see here now. Let's go 24 and 24. And we're cruising here quite nicely, right? Let's see now. Beautiful French countryside. Bit of cloud here, but it is very, very nice indeed. So, there's more things happening. Strap, thank you very much indeed, Strap. Cheers, buddy. Was there a delay on that gadget coming through? Thank you very, very much indeed. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Right, lads, so we've informatione where we start from. So, the boys leave the island. Every great journey begins with a departure, and on a cold day in December in 1778, 2 small boys from Corsica stood on a ship bound for a world they didn't know, leaving behind the island that had shaped them, scarred them, and indeed loved them. The alerts are a little bit delayed. Don't know what happened there. We'll blame science, but Linny and Strap, thank you very, very much indeed. So it wasn't a gentle holiday cruise. There was no lovely deck chairs and free towels. This was a boat that smelled of fish, goats, sweat, and, existential dread. On board, we had Carlo Bonaparte, the father, his 2 eldest sons, Joseph and Napoleon, Uncle Fesh, good man Uncle Fesh, and a cousin, Aurelio Varese. The small party sailed away from Ajaccio, leaving Letizia on the quayside, holding back the tears and telling her sons just this one word: courage. For the boy Napoleon, this was the first great break in his life. He would return to Corsica, but he would never again belong to it. Ooh. So as the little group crossed Tuscany on their way north, something happened that stayed with Napoleon forever. He saw Florence. He saw the Duomo, the palaces, the grandeur of a world built by ambition, genius, and ruthless will. For a child from a poor island, it was like stepping into a dream, one that he never forgot. And he even caught a glimpse of the Grand Duke, which for a kid in the 18th century would be our equivalent of seeing Johnny Logan at a local Tesco. It was the first whisper of a destiny he didn't yet understand. So we move now to January 1st, 1779, to a place called Autun, the language of kings. After weeks on the road, the boys reached Autun on New Year's Day. Autun, it's no sun-baked Corsican hillside. It's grey, cold, and deeply, aggressively French. Napoleon arrives not as a dashing prodigy, but as a slightly scruffy, badly dressed foreign kid who can't speak the language. He and Joseph are placed under the care of the Abbé de Chardon, who later remembered them clearly. He said Joseph was quiet, gentle, shy, apparently nice enough. Napoleon, however, was intense, withdrawn, walking alone, easily triggered at the mention of Corsica. He takes no interest in games. He doesn't chat. He doesn't charm. He stares, listens, absorbs. And when someone mentions Corsica, he erupts. If the French hadn't outnumbered the Corsicans 10-1, he insists, well, they never would have taken the island. That's the same sort of energy as, well, you guys would have. When we have to sit there waiting for the sim to load, for example, we persevere, we get through it. The loading times, or the model matching, or CTDs, right? That's the level that, the equivalent Napoleon was at that age. Could you imagine if that actually happened? And so began the battle with language, a battle he would fight indeed for the rest of his life. To put it bluntly, Napoleon's French was terrible. He spoke like a Corsican running downhill with a mouthful of gravel. He never learned to spell properly, even as emperor. And his handwriting looked like a drunk spider trying to escape a bucket. Yet, for his all sulky isolation, he is sharp. And in just over 3 months, he picks up enough French to hold a conversation, to write simple exercises, and understand the basics of his new world. If the Abbé Chardon tells him something once, Napoleon drinks it in. If the Chardon repeats it, Napoleon switches off, saying, "Monsieur, I already know that." It's not rudeness exactly, it's more like the early stage of "don't waste my time." Meanwhile, Carlo, well, he gets busy in Paris, jumping through bureaucratic hoops like a man trying to install GSX. To get Napoleon into a royal military school, Carlo had to prove 2 things. Ancient nobility. He had to show at least 4 generations. And for the Bonapartes, well, that was actually quite easy. They had that, from Corsica. Next, they had to show poverty. That he's noble, but he has no money. And there's a reason for this. We'll get into that now. 4 Corsicans signed to confirm that Carlo's only real income is his modest role as an assessor, and that he can't afford the sort of education that the rank he holds requires. So, he manages to prove all of these things, the door opens, and in January, the War Office appoints Napoleon to the military school of Turin in Brienne. But something changes. Military school of Turin, but something changes and he's sent to a different academy. He goes to Brienne. On the 23rd of April, Napoleon leaves Autun. Joseph stays behind to continue his classical studies. The brothers weep. Joseph openly, Napoleon managing a single tear, which he tries to hide. The abbot Simon, watching them, notes that one tear probably says more about the depth of Napoleon's feelings than his brother's floods of tears. The next stop is the place that will really begin to shape him, which was in Brienne. So in the sim, we've just left Autun and we're heading towards Brienne, right? So think of Autun as like basic schooling. Language, there's a couple of other subjects thrown in there, but the main idea behind Autun was just get the language down. You got to learn how to speak French. When you think about it, Napoleon hadn't a word of French, right? So he was able to pick it up relatively quickly. He became somewhat comfortable with his surroundings and had an idea, all right, this is how the world works. Bearing in mind, he's so young, right? Brienne is where the thing really kicks off. So Brienne was no ordinary school. It was one of 12 royal military schools founded for boys of poor nobility, the sons whose families had titles but not enough money. So we knew the crack. Carlo had to get Napoleon in. He had to prove 4 generations of noble lineage, and practically they had no money. Imagine applying for a boarding school but the paperwork says, yes, we're noble, but no, we can't afford the socks. But it worked. Napoleon entered Brienne, and you have to excuse me French, at an élevé pensionnaire du roi, or du roux, effectively a king's scholar. A king's scholar, I don't know what that, I don't know what the modern word would be, but a king's scholar, it's like a sponsored role that the state has fully funded. Right? It's like Erasmus year or something. Don't they do that? You can travel with Erasmus. Anyway, he was known as a king's scholar, meaning the king was paying for his education. Now, that can do one of two things. It could put a chip on your shoulder, or it could put a target on your back. Brienne was run by the... pronounce this one now. I think it's Minimes. They were a very strict religious order. Each boy got a 6-foot square cell, a straw bed, a jug, and a basin. The cells are only for sleeping in. They're locked at night time, they eat together, they dress alike, and they attend mass morning and evening. Holidays do exist, but only in theory, as there's always another lesson somewhere. The boys lived almost like young monks, inside the walls, under rules, under discipline, and their world bounded by stone and scripture. I'm getting a warning on my Microsoft Flight Simulator. Why is that happening? See that? This sim doesn't like us, lads. It's out to get us, so it is. Anyway, it was basically a bit like Hogwarts, I suppose, you know, but with fewer wizards and a lot more Latin homework. The students lived on campus. They weren't allowed to leave the grounds at all. They studied even during their holidays or vacation. They slept in regimented dormitories. They woke to bells, prayers, drills, and strict routines. Despite the discipline, many rules were politely forgotten, especially when boys were involved in activities resembling minor warfare. Now you learn about what to do on a day-to-day, right? The curriculum included history, geography, mathematics, Latin, which Napoleon hated, French poetry, German, Napoleon didn't have much time for that either, drawing, music, which I think kind of finished off at some stage, and then eventually English. That was the syllabus. Plus the early roots of the art of war, which Napoleon once called the trade of barbarians. From day one, Napoleon is an outsider. Yes, his French is rough, heavily accented, full of mistakes. His name sounds odd to the French ears, and soon it's turned into cruel puns. His family is poor by aristocratic standards, and he's being subsidised, of course, from the king. His accent, olive skin, and Corsican identity, well, Napoleon quickly becomes a target. He's mocked for being Corsican. Some treat his island as little more than a captured curiosity, an Italian-speaking rock conquered by the French. Napoleon doesn't take this well. When someone belittles Corsica, he doesn't debate. He explodes. Napoleon has been described as short and wiry, sullen and reserved, quick-tempered, and proud to the point of being prickly. He withdraws into himself, going silent rather than social. He doesn't snitch. If someone misbehaves and a teacher demands to know who did it, Napoleon will take the punishment rather than betray a classmate. For a boy who doesn't really like most of them, that's still quite something. He doesn't win prizes in the usual showy subjects either. Latin bores him. He sees no point in writing in a dead language. Him and Gibbo would get on like a house on fire with the... You're right. What does matter to me what does it matter to me if a mare is first or second conjugation? However, mathematics, geography and history, well, that's where Napoleon light ups. Anything that smells of war, be it the logistics or power, strategy, campaigns, maps, fortifications, he absorbs all of this like a sponge. His teachers remarked he has a phenomenal memory. He can calculate quickly and clearly. He's less interested in elegant phrases than in what things actually do. His classmates see something else. Well, they see a boy who would rather spend his free time in the library than in the yard. While they play, well, he pores over Plutarch, Livy, Caesar's Gallic Wars, and the lives of ancient heroes. He doesn't just read these, though. He compares, he weighs, he judges them. The great men of the past are not myths to him. They are benchmarks. In one letter, he sums up this approach. And you get the sense he means it. He worked harder than everyone else, but only in the subjects that he believed mattered. Maths, history, geography, and military thinking. Napoleon's Corsican patriotism burned like a second heartbeat. When he saw a portrait of, I think it's Choiseul, the minister who engineered France's takeover of Corsica, he launched a triad of insults at the canvas. He once vowed, harm the French as much as I possibly can. He challenged a cadet to a duel and he firstly defended his homeland whenever mocked. He wasn't liked, but he was respected. Napoleon formed only one meaningful friendship here. Louis-Antoine Févelet de Brienne. The two aided each other academically. For instance, Napoleon helped him with mathematics and Brienne helped him with Latin. He later became Napoleon's private secretary, and his memoirs remain among the most revealing accounts of Napoleon's youth. We get a lot of the information we have today because of this friendship. While others played games, well, Napoleon sat alone in the library. As we mentioned, Plutarch or Livy, Homer, the Gallic Wars. He once wrote to his mother, "With my sword by my side and Homer in my pocket, I hope to carve my way through the world." This is like from a kid, right? Now, we move on to what's called the garden. This is just one of these things, if we look back in his life from such an early age. Each boy at Brienne get a small plot of land. So they get their 6x6 cell with their, straw bed and a cup and a basin, right? But they also get a small bit of land, a small little plot, a little garden. And most plant kind of, vegetables or flowers, and then they kick a ball around or, act the maggot. Well, Napoleon did something a little bit different. He built walls around his, planted trees and shrubs, created a defensible oasis, and he used it as a private retreat to read military history. When I say he built a wall, these were palisade fencing he built around the thing. It was the child's first attempt at building a fort, a preview of the strengths and strategies that would one day command armies. He did that as a child, right? Nuts. So why are we here at winter? Then comes the winter of 1783 and 1784. Muse fan remembers it well. It was unusually harsh. Snowy piles deep around Brienne, where most would see this as miserable. Well, Napoleon sees an opportunity. He got them to build a snow fortress, complete with ramparts and 4 bastions, and divided into 2 armies. Day after day, they would either attack, defend, regroup, and then attack again. Napoleon usually in command, sometimes leading the assault, sometimes orchestrating the defence. He invents new manoeuvres, new formations. It's all snow and laughter on the surface. But beneath is something way more serious. He is practicing command. He's applying geometry to real space. He's learning how people behave under fire, even if the ammo is indeed frozen water. The snow fort becomes famous in town. People come from Brienne to see it. And in the midst of the childish war game, you can just about see the outline of the Austerlitz or Wagram forming. Now, a little bit later on, they had to kind of stop the game because, well, they started putting rocks in the snowballs, people were getting injured and all this sort of jazz. But the importance of that, the significance of that, whereby it's not just, let's go out and play in the snow, or, there's so much snow, we can't do anything, lads. It's like, batten up the latches, stay inside, we can't go out. Napoleon, absolutely not, saw opportunity here. And effectively was having these, simulated war games in which then he was taking command. Attack, defense, reorg, and another assault at such a young age. No one showed him how to do this. No one told him to do this. He was inspired to do it perhaps from the books in which he had read, particularly that of Caesar, right? The Gallic Wars. But who does that? We do it now for the crack, but back then, very strange, Now, during his years, he started writing some letters. Napoleon begins writing letters. He was a famous man for writing letters, a great man for the letters. And later on in life, some of these letters get intercepted, and the letters were of that of a romantic kind of, But at the moment, he's only writing to his mammy. But it shows a certain maturity Napoleon had at the age for, just turning a teenager. In his letters, especially to his uncle, but he talks about the direction his older brother Joseph is taking, the honour and future of the family, and also the practicalities of career. The church versus the army versus, law. In one letter to an uncle, he dissects Joseph's plan to leave the priesthood and become an officer. Napoleon weighs the pros and cons like a seasoned family advisor, stressing that Joseph is not suited to the dangers and hardships of war, and that a church career could bring influence and income to the Bonapartes. He writes with clarity, urgency, and yes, a bit of flair. This is a teenager already trying to manage the careers of his siblings from a school dormitory. In another letter, he asks his father for books on Corsica, the histories, memoirs, accounts of Paoli, and the resistance. He promises to look after them carefully, even if he doesn't return to the island for another 6 years. He is physically in Campania, but mentally, he's still on the Corsican hills. We'll pause there because we've more to go through, right? But I suppose at this age, right, at 13 maybe, 14, think about what had happened in the last 3 years, 4 years. He steps foot on France, he learns the language, he gets thrown into a school where everyone hates him, there is a target on his back, but he muscles through it. He doesn't snitch on people. He takes the blame, he takes the punishment, and his classmates kind of recognise this. They think that he's small and he's odd and, his funny accent and his tan and whatever else. Yet they know he's also ferocious. He's vicious, this lad, especially if you start talking about Corsica. It lights him up completely. He's very kind of outgoing in a way that seems to be a childhood of utter inwardness, searching at himself. But through all his readings, these ancient warriors and heroes, Homer and Plutarch, and of course we mentioned Caesar in Gaul, he's equipping himself not to kind of do what they did per se. As I said, it setting a benchmark for him. Right, okay, this is the benchmark. This is the standard I must get to, and then we'll go over the far side. And the challenges, of course, of being in school during these times. A typical day in Autun, right, in which we have our notes down here. Remind me to go back. Remind me, lads, it's on page 65. I'll come down here for a second. Because a typical day in Autun, I thought this would be fun. So, hang on now, that's Brienne. We'll get to that in a moment. So, a typical day in Autun. 9-year-old Corsican boy, doesn't speak French, dropped into a church-run boarding school. Think of Autun as the classical church college. Priests are in charge, Latin everywhere, strict, but not fully military. So between 5:30 and 6 a.m, wake up, cold stone and cold water. The dorm bell rings before sunrise. All the lads have to get up. They wake in a communal room. They wash in cold water from jugs. They pull on coarse linen shirts and simple uniforms. No chatting. They dress. They make their bed. They get out of there. It's all a rush. Between 6 and 7, they have their morning prayers straight to the chapel. They chant. There's incense, Latin responses. Napoleon doesn't understand half of it. He's still thinking about, Corsica. This is the anchor of the day. God first, everything else afterwards. Between 7 and 8, they go for breakfast. Bread, usually. Jam if they're lucky. They might have a drop of wine or whatnot. They also had other kind of like oats and stuff in the morning. The boys sit at long wooden tables. A priest walks between the rows, reading out notices, sometimes correcting behaviour from the day before, you know, on the back of the head. Don't do that again. Conversation is low, often in French. The young Corsican barely grasps that. Between 8 and 11, morning classes. Ah yes, Latin and basic French. Autun's job for Napoleon is simple, but to turn him into something who can function in French. So his morning is mostly Latin grammar, learning the roles, the conjugations, religious doctrine. Then he learns elementary French, reading aloud simple sentences, copying phrases from the blackboard, and so on. Between 11 and 12 is recreation, the first real breath of the day. The boys spill out into the courtyard, kick around a ball, chasing games, this sort of stuff. Some just walk around and have an old chat. Joseph blends in, but Napoleon mostly doesn't. He keeps himself. Between 12 and 1, midday meal, back to the refectory. Simple hot meal, maybe, you know, soup, vegetables, and if you're lucky, some bread. Readings from religious or moral texts while they eat to feed the soul, sort of thing. Between 1 and 3, then they have their afternoon classes, right? History, religious, writing and composition. Between 3 and 4, they have supervised study and supervised homework. They sit at long desks under supervision. They silently redo Latin and French exercises. For Napoleon, this is where the morning's chaos starts to turn into actual knowledge. There's patterns here, rules, structures. It's slowly but surely kind of bedding into him. Between 4 and 5, recreation, another short break outside. Between 5 and 7, evening study and reading. Between 7 and 8, they have some supper, night prayers, and then lights out. I mean, that was every day. Every day. When he gets to Brienne, it's very much the same. They get up a little bit earlier. They're usually up at like 5 or half 5, sunrise, before sunrise. Again, they have their morning prayer and breakfast and their study blocks. They didn't do continuous study throughout the day. They would do them in blocks, 2 to 3 hours, little break, right, get you back in, 2 to 3 hours. That's what they did. It's not so far off what kind of is done today. The main thing that changed when he got to Brienne was in the evening. Because between 4 and 6 o'clock, they did drill, fencing, and applied exercises. This was specifically military training once he got to Brienne. So Autun was all about learning, schooling, and all the other jazz. When he got to Brienne, when his place was secured there, well, the schooling part continues, but now you have a military, military doctrine thrown in on top of all of that. And that could be anything from, you know, marching, formation, basic handling of mock weapons, understanding roles and strategy, rank structure, chain of command, all of these things. And this is done every day, 2 hours a day, every day. Sometimes then they would actually get in to learn how to do early stages of combat. They would have started off with fencing, for example, and sometimes even dancing, right? Future generals needed to move properly at court. It was in their officer training. They had to know how to dance, an officer and a gentleman and all this sort of stuff. Older boys might have extra maths or drawing instead, depending on what track that they were on. And Napoleon, well, he's getting shaped. During his time here, this is where it's kind of shaping him. He's quickly to turn around and say, do mind this Latin or German? I'm here to figure out me maths. He loved mathematics, loved it. I'm here to learn about geography and history. And I like my military studies, thanks. That's where it is, right? Anyway, the day kind of ended then, roughly around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then the next morning, they do it all over again. And that's the way it was for 5 years straight. 5 years straight, right? Now, what page did they say to go back? 67 or something, wasn't it? Ah, Jesus. It was. Was it? I have many pages. Right, here we are now. We'll get on to this now in a moment.
Oh, behave.
Okay, there were the letters. There we go. Right, grand. Now, wait to hear this. The stuff in the box man is here. Good to see you. News fan, good man yourself. Now, before we get into this, let me see. There was a couple of recommendations. Inspector Carenadio's early reports and recommendations. This is important, from Brienne. The assessment of Napoleon was as follows. He's excellent in maths, good at history and geography, poor in Latin. He would make an excellent sailor, fit for advancement to Paris, submissive, honest, grateful. Not a bad kind of an assessment. A later assessment said all the same, but also masterful, impetuous, headstrong, recommended for the École Militaire in Paris. So one wanted him for the Navy, one wanted him for the Army. Very interesting. For a while, the plan encouraged by Carenado was to send Napoleon into the Navy. He was Corsican after all, he was down by the sea, the Mediterranean. But fate, as usual with Napoleon, does something more interesting. Napoleon's mother feared the sea. Fire and water together felt like tempting fate. Napoleon himself, well, he becomes captivated by artillery. Again, he was talking about mathematics, precision. So, in 1784, a new inspector, Renaud Dumont, visits Brienne, picks up a handful of promising students to move them over to the École Militaire in France, the top tier, one of 12 military colleges set up by Louis XV. Napoleon is among them. On October 30th, 1784, the small dark boy who built snow forts and read Plutarch in a fenced-off garden leaves for Paris. He's not a soldier, but he's no longer a Corsican exile. He's something in between, a weapon in the making, perhaps. So our next section is going to cover Paris, and we'll get down to that in a moment. But now, lads, we're about to do our first landing, and where we are about to land is in a place called Brienne. Right? You can almost picture it with the snow on the ground, cold, isolated. You know, you can't leave this place. You know, you go back, whatever it was, 200 and odd years, you know, and there be now Napoleon in the schoolyard after building a friggin' fortress. And he running around the place like, you know, Caesar, you're up there now, and bash him in the head. And, you know, that's what was going on in his childhood. And again, to kind of understand kind of, you know, the whole gravity here, the impact on this. Here is a man who literally came from nothing to being the most powerful man in the world at the time. Like, had full control over Europe. Unbelievably. And much of what Napoleon did in terms of laws and all this, civics and all this, liberté, fertility, all of it, it's still here with us today. And we know him by his first name. We know him on a first name basis. We don't know him as, you know, Emperor the 15th or, you know, Charles Fitzgerald, Louis Fitzgerald the 9th, right? We simply know him as Napoleon. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. But anyway, local aviator, good to see you. So we're about to do a landing here. Lima Foxtrot, November. Just up the road here a little bit. We can see it there in the distance. And, well, I hope you're enjoying this. I'll be asking questions later on. Right? You better not make a mess of it now, lads. You know, I'm just saying. But let's do one of these with one of those. I didn't press the button. I'll try it again. Did I mention it's almost Christmas? Well, I mean, you know, not really, but we're getting there. We have many people flying with us tonight. Great to see so many people out and about. Well, I say out and about, we're actually all indoors, but you know what I mean. Larry is there. Bio Games, Grace Skies, Musafan, Faku is there, Stu Snape, Wicked Lumberjacks, Abject Soup, Heapster, Daddy Plump, Vacuum, BMU is with us, Grimmy, Paul Star, Robert, Cyrus T, Visualize, Kiowa, Mav Wings is with us. There's a grazer over there with Bell Bro. It's all terribly, terribly white. Dublin 18, demand yourself. Beautiful French countryside. Isn't it gorgeous? In the snowy kind of cold, be Janie then. We shall attempt a landing now, friends. This is where it all gets exciting. Autopilot coming off. I'm gonna roll the aircraft to our right. And let's see what the crack is here. We're gonna bring that power down. My sim is having a bit of a moment tonight, isn't it? Look at the stutters, lads. We'll have to produce something to beat it. Maybe delete the cache or, you know. I'm very much looking forward to some update 4 now. And I don't know what's the best way to approach this. Do we fully reinstall the sim? Do we just do a blatant update and hope everything goes well? Or do we follow procedure and start off with a beautifully clean community folder? What do we recommend we do? As we ease out some of the speed. We're looking alright. There'll be a runway down there. Icy cold runway. Hey, Quack, good to see you. I'm getting a lot of stirs tonight, says Sai. So do I, dude. Yeah, no idea why it is. I found a simple reinstall works a charm, says Irvi. CP says reinstall. Yeah, I think at this stage, I mean, considering the amount of stuff I'd have running on my sim at any one moment, you know, it does not look at all like the scenery you'll see Friday night, except cold and snow. Yes, yes, yes. Looking forward to Friday night. We're going up the northwest coast of Newfoundland. Are you saying uninstall and reinstall? Reinstall. So, when Sim Update 4 releases, I think it could be good practice to uninstall and then reinstall. You know? Allsplice Simmer, Shane is here. Good to see you, buddy. Jesus, 43 months. The man is a legend. Shane, I hope you're well, buddy. Happy Tuesday to you. You're very welcome in, man. We're flying here, learning about Napoleon. A great bunch of lads. A great bunch of lads. Just back up the community folder. Yes. APU says, I always do a clean install, reinstall when every beta is released. It works flawlessly. Ooh, nice. Alright, well, I'll probably do that. Right, so that little alarm is just letting me know that I have sufficient or insufficient power and they want me to lower the landing gear. Which we're going to do, friends. Gear coming down, and we'll start our turn. It's runway 28 left, or 28, whatever is available. So this is Brienne. And 5 years Napoleon spent up here. In school. My recommendation, just upgrade it and complain about the stutters. That's excellent advice. Yes, yes, we should do that. It will lead to many a similar conversation. So, get those stutters, eh? Brilliant. Brilliant. Right, we're over this way. Right, so speed is coming down, not to flaps. Not long since landed your A340 into VTC. Ooh, Jesus, really? George asks, have you ever heard of using Apple Maps in 2024? Yes, I have been doing some testing. For some regions, it's very good. Very good. In other regions, it's not good at all. It depends. It's quite good. It's quite good in parts of America. From what you can see, you know. But it's kind of the same, like, you know, you can use Google Maps and all this, like, you can do the same sort of stuff, right? I tend not to bother. I mean, look, I think Bing does what it needs to do, plus there's, like, no worry of things going astray. And I know people say, look, there's no worries, like, there's no problem. The sim is so friggin'... what's the word I'm looking for? There's so many things going on in the back end that we cannot see. I can't recommend using that much stuff from outside of the sim. Only because if you have problems, I mean, where do you start? Do you know what I mean? Like, it becomes like a tile didn't load correctly. Okay, well, the software will load this tile in instead. Okay, but where's it getting that data from? Well, it's getting it from the internet. All right. And what if it's like the wrong, you know, paging size file, or you know what I mean? I've watched videos on it, and as I said, I've done a little bit of testing, and some of the maps look incredibly good. But it's like using ortho back in the day. Anyone who used X-Plane, so the Apple Maps, it feels in places it's like zoom level friggin' 19. extremely sharp, crisp detail. But in other places, it's Bing does a better job overall. But it depends where you fly. I would say if you fly in the same region all the time, yeah, give it a shot. But if you're like us and we kind of dash literally anywhere in the world, probably wouldn't make a lot of sense, you know. So question has to go out, lads. 4 PMDG's upcoming 737-8. I mean, is it all on your shopping lists? Are we all going to be saying, yeah, we definitely want it? Are you thinking maybe there's no need for it now? You're happy enough with something like the iFly? What are your thoughts on it? I'll probably get, well, I will, of course I'll get it, but like, I'm really looking forward to them doing something with the DC-6. You know what I mean? To Blaze, I don't believe so, no. As far as I know, it is not, like...
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Norse Viking, there is a cost to upgrade, is my understanding. Not until you review it and then fly off between it. Oh, that's a good... Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. It's your job to get it before the rest of us so we know whether it's worth it. Unfortunately, not many devs, you know. I have the iFly, sticking with that. See, I like the iFly. Now, I know she's a Max, but like, I like the iFly, you know. Energizer, good to see you, buddy. It depends on the upgrade price. Now, they did say it was going to be drastically reduced, so what are we talking? $20? I'm landing on a runway I shouldn't be. This is going to be amazing, crack. Right, easy now, Jemima, as you come in for our first landing of the night. And easy now. Hold the nose, watch the flare, lead the speed, and a gentle touchdown. Oh yeah, and a stutter. Jesus. Really hoping that's sorted out soon. I paid for the 737 in 2020. I will not pay again. It's not worth it for me. The DC-6, yeah. Can't wait for the iFly to become native. Yes. Not going to get it. It's the same as the 737. Muse fan, there was a displaced threshold just there. Brilliant. I will say, PMDG do make some beautiful aircraft. Like, they do, right? They're phenomenally good. And I think, you know, they set the early standards. People are starting to catch up with them. You know, I mean, John FS should be working, Tarnish, yeah. Uh-oh. Why is it not working? Why can't I connect to Firefly Air? Don't tell me this stupid thing has gone offline again, is it? Yes, 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 yes. Join FS. Is it running? It's running. We'll kill it and start it again. That's the wrong button, Murphy. You literally need it. They no longer have the monopoly on study level airliners. People have caught up with them and surpassed them. Yeah, so like, there is a bit of kind of drama there when when it comes to PMDG, because and I mean this in a nice way, but they do have a chip on their shoulder, but they kind of earned it, right? I mean, they're in this game a long time. They're making aircraft a long time, and they've made some absolute crackers over the years, right? So they pretty much earned their position to kind of, I don't want to say do what they like. I mean, I don't think particularly, they're not reckless. They've some kind of sharp, business decisions, or, the way they released the 700 first, and then a 600, and then you get the 800, and sure, then they upgrade the 800 first, so if you only ever bought the 700, I mean, you're rightly shagged. I mean, I get all of that, right? But I still think they make some great aircraft. Now, why isn't this connecting to the gadget? I've never had this before. So I'm going to kill it on the server. And we'll try it again, lads, will we? Doodle-doo. It's thinking about it. Connect. It's connected now. We should be able to see Firefly Air in there now, lads. See that? Firefly Air should now be broadcasted in the public hubs. Took me ages to do that. But that should be working now, yeah? So yeah, we're up and running. Yeah, alrighty. We'll close that. I genuinely haven't watched the trailer or watched anyone streaming it. What have they added to it? What warrants to pay again? Genuine question. Well, they've updated the textures. They've updated the flight model. They've given it new features, new sounds. They put in their own sounds. I haven't heard any. I was watching Steve Ellis earlier on. Steve did a very good overview of the aircraft today. He was streaming all. He put in his shift. Steve went on for like 9 hours or something. And I watched British AvGeek fly it. I watched 320. Is it 320 Sim Pilot? So I watched quite a good few streaming it, and videos as well. The sounds to me, they are better versus the original one. But Boris has made such an impact on them. Like, I don't really care about it, you know. So basically, additional features that other devs generally give for free. Muse fan, yes, 110%. Put it this way, lads. Just Flight, with their 146 Professional, with the Avro J, with the F-28, they are all free upgrades. And some of those have like 5 to 6 pages of changelogs. Right? But Just Flight are not PMDG, and PMDG are not Just Flight. You can't base the actions of one company versus the other. Different physics. Right, fuel, how are we looking? Oh, Jesus. Top it up there now, Betsy. 70%. Let's load it in. Now, lads, what we're going to do, our final leg is going to be a dash towards Paris. Are we ready? So let me see. Altitude is already dialed in. So flaps, 1 notch of flaps set for takeoff. And, well, let's see what we can do here. Are we ready? I would usually say no one should work for free. No, like, I mean, look, if they need to charge, they need to charge. PMDG would be doing no one a service if they said, yeah, this is for free, and then, like, months later, there's no more development because they had to let people go. I mean, it's business, right? We'll see. We shall see. Right, power coming in. Up the hill, Jemima. I think charging for an upgrade is fine, provided the new features and fixes, perhaps, justify it. Yepsy daisy. And from what I've seen so far, and I mean this honestly, until I actually fly the airplane myself, but from what I've seen online, there is enough there to justify it. I think. In terms of flight modelling, in terms of systems, in terms of the flight envelope, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the sounds, in terms of some of the features in the cabin, you know, the cabin friggin' setup and all this kind of stuff, and even the performance, the enhancement of performance, that to me would justify a price. November 4279er, this is the Carenado CT210N. This is based on Cessna's 210 Centurion 2 or Centurion 1. Turbo. I think it's just the Centurion 1. Beautiful plane. Big plane. Many seats. So you have your pilot, co-pilot, you have your buddy 1, buddy 2, and then a bench in behind it. It's quite a large airplane. It's a large Cessna. And it's beautiful. Okay, autopilot, let's go and talk to this guy. We're going to do a new Direct 2, and this one is going to be LFPO, Lima, Foxtrot, Papa, Oscar, Paris, Orly, activate, autopilot, engage. We're going to go nav, we're going to go altitude, up to 4,000. We're going to arm it, we're going to V-speed it, drop it down to about 1,000, and we now continue on. Excellent choice. I have the early access to the 7.3. I honestly agree with Murph. The PMDG team have done enough to charge an upgrade. I would pay for an upgrade for the Just Flight aircraft too. Yeah. The N is a Centurion too. Thanks, Malky. All right, good stuff. Oh, so you have it, right? So, yeah, man. I mean, that's what I've seen from the folks with videos of it. Shane, did you put out a video on it? I need to have a look. Or maybe you're going to stream with it. But yeah, like, I don't get the hype. I mean, it's not a new airplane. You know what I mean? This whole pre-release, and I don't get that hype for it. When it was a brand new airframe, I'd say, yeah, of course, but, you know, introduce people to it. But it's an upgrade. You know. I don't know. I don't get, like, people are interested in it. Why? Because at the moment it is the only option for a 737 NG in Microsoft Flight Sim, right? And you know it's going to be good. You're going to stream in a few hours. The embargo finished at your bedtime. You need your beauty sleep. Okay, well, I look forward to that stream. When all said and done, I'll probably still get it because I do miss flying it. Yeah, I'm the same, man. I'm the same. Airlock, 100%, man. That is Carenado. Alright, we'll ease off the power here a little bit. Get the speed down to about 150. And we'll cruise in here nicely, lads. We do have our beautiful weather radar on the side wing. It's functioning within the sim schematics. Oh, Larry's flying with us, look. Good man, Larry. Brilliant. Right, lads, we'll do another one of these. How are we all getting on with the flyage? So, if you're currently flying along, Xbox pilots press 1. If you're on the PC, press 2. Join FS and Skynet, it's number 3. And if you're thinking of the 737, even just having pleasant dreams about it, you press number 4. Where's this? Oh, yeah. Now we are trashing. The song was played on request by MuseFan. In actual fact, he liked it so much, he said, Murph, would you play that again? And I said, I shall. And MuseFan said, thanks. Turn off that noise, Murphy! I do like a bit of Christmas every now and again, though. Do you know, like Christmas songs? Jesus, lads! It's the only time of the year we get to absolutely inundate you with, you know, bit of tunage. But anyway, we're doing well. What's my speed? We're doing all right. We're doing all right. So, we'll come over to here. And we're going to do some more reading up on Napoleon. Because, lads, if Brienne is the monastic boot camp, he now goes to Paris, the birth of an officer, as he goes to the École Militaire, or basically military school, right? The king's own finishing school for nobles in uniform. Founded by Louis XV, reorganised by Saint-Germain, well, it takes the best students from the provincial academies and polishes them for service in the artillery, engineers, or indeed the navy. When Napoleon arrives at the end of 1784, this place is already a machine. There are 2 divisions, each with 3 classes. 16 professors across mathematics, geography and history, French grammar, German, fortification, drawing, fencing, and indeed dancing. The schedule is brutal and beautiful in its own way. 8 hours of study each day, between 7 and 9, 10 and 12, 2 and 4, and 5 and 7. Thursdays, Sundays, and feast days, no formal classes, but for 4 hours of supervised reading and letter writing. No phones, no Netflix, just books, drills, and the constant thump of boots in the courtyard. The cadets are organised into a regiment with their own internal chain of command. Senior students can discipline juniors. Punishments include arrest, confinement, and bread and water days. No one is allowed money from home. Leave is non-existent. Even visits to his sister at St. Cree are strictly rationed. Comfortable? Not really. Effective? Very. At the college, Napoleon doubles down on what he already loves. Mathematics for artillery, this is his religion. History and geography, how empires rise and fall, and where people fight. Fortification, translating lines on paper to walls and bastions on the ground. He's taught geography by Tartus and also Delay Guil, French grammar by de Marion and Hasse. In the background, giants like Legendre and Louis Mong in the mathematical sphere. These are serious people doing some serious work. Napoleon isn't the golden boy of the school. He's not Sergeant Major, he's not the top cadet, not the star in the parade. But he works, and he works with purpose. Where some nobles treat this place as a kind of gentleman's playground, Napoleon treats it as a ladder out of obscurity. He shares a room with Desmazes, an older student with charm, polish, and much better social skills. They become close, almost like brothers. Desmazes is wildly more worldly, more lynched to flirt and enjoy Paris. Napoleon scolds him for it. It's preaching, his preaching restraint and discipline like an old general in a teacher's body. He's still short, still intense, still Corsican to the core. He talks with passion about Paoli and the injustice of France's conquest of his homeland, to the point his superiors have reminded him, "You are a scholar of the king, boy. You must remember that." Napoleon hears the words but never quite takes them to heart. Then, in February 1785, something happens that hits him far harder than any school punishment. His father, Carlo, dies on the 24th of February after a long and painful illness. Carlo's last words, overheard by the family, are full of feverish prophecy, visions of Napoleon's sword making kings tremble and changing the face of the world. Whether embellished or not, the message is clear. The father believed his small, intense son was destined for something immense. Napoleon, at the École Militaire, receives the news in a world of strict schedules and hard exams. We have letters, he writes afterwards, to his uncle and his mother, but they have clearly been tidied up by the teachers, polished into something more appropriate, less raw. Behind the formal phrasing, you can still feel it. A teenager suddenly aware that he is now one of the men of the family. There is no longer a father between him and the world. Responsibility hardens him further, and it doesn't soften him. If anything, it sharpens his determination to succeed, not as a French courtier, but as a professional soldier. Next up is the artillery exam, Laplace and Bézu. To become an artillery officer in pre-revolutionary France, you don't just turn up with a fancy name and a nice hat. You have to pass an exam, and this is a serious one. It all revolves around 4 volumes of the Bézout's Cours de Mathématiques: arithmetic, geometry, and trigonometry, algebra and its application to geometry, mechanics, hydrostatics, differential and integral calculus, and advanced topics. To get the status of élève student, you must know Volume 1. To become an officer, you must be comfortable across all 4. In 1785, the examiners include Laplace, one of the greatest mathematicians of the age. It's like having Newton mark your GCSE or your leaving cert. Napoleon knows what he needs to do. He studies this obsessively, to the point he scribbles lines in the margins about finishing the work months early and then helping others to revise. He's not trying to be clever. He's trying to be ready. In the second week of September, his exam in Paris starts, and a fortnight later, the results come in. 58 candidates pass as artillery officers. 4 of them came from the École Militaire. Napoleon is third among these 4, and he placed 42nd overall. he didn't just pass the exams, he actually skipped the normal stage of being the student in an artillery school. He goes straight to the rank of second lieutenant. A few years later, when Laplace dedicates his Mécanique Céleste to Napoleon, the now ruler of France writes back, half regretful, saying that reading such work makes him wish circumstances hadn't dragged him so far from the world of pure science. But in 1785, he isn't an emperor regretting anything. He's a newly minted officer, 16 years old, heading into a French army that is still royal, still rigid, and still very much not expecting a revolution. While Napoleon is grinding through Bezos and marching around the parade grounds in Paris, France itself is creaking. The country is drowning in debt, not least from helping the Americans during the War of Independence. Enlightenment ideas are rolling through salons and coffee houses, mocking kings, priests, and the old order. The nobility are still playing the refined games, but their grip on real power is loosening. The king's government is trying and failing to fix the tax system without upsetting the people who benefit from it. None of this is Napoleon's doing, of course. At this point, he's a minor officer candidate, more concerned with gun carriages and conic sections than constitutions and the class struggle. But the timing is everything. The monarchy that paid for his education, the aristocracy that mocked his accent, and the system that let him in while still looking down on him. It's all about to be turned upside down. And when he leaves the École Militaire in 1785 as second lieutenant of artillery, posted to the southeast of France, no one knows his name outside of a tiny circle of teachers, examiners, and fellow cadets. Yet, the ingredients are there. A mind trained in precision and calculation, a character forged by isolation, resentment, and ambition, a body toughened by years of strict routine, and a political landscape about to explode. What? Now, we've just left Brienne, and we're on our way now, as I say, towards Paris, right? So where we're at in our story, when he gets to Paris, this is where he, goes to this military college. This is where he learns all about, artillery and warfare, right? I mean, he's learned an awful lot by these history books and what he's, the movement of troops on the ground and so on. But Napoleon takes such a very sharp interest to artillery itself. I've done artillery. I was in the artillery, and many of you guys, I'm sure, have been involved in some which way, maybe with the military. They always said, artillerymen, yes, we will have tea and read the newspapers, and when we're ready, we'll pull the lanyard, and that'll be it. Thank you very much. Right? Handy number, they said. Whereby, the unfortunate infantrymen, well, sure, they're flat out, all day, every day. We're flying over a nuclear power station, you say? Ooh. Well, there's water. That suggests to me that there is a station. Look. I don't see the cooling towers. Should there be cooling towers? Very interesting place, this. So as we approach Paris to where he finishes his schooling, right up to the point, the age of 16, he's given a commission, second lieutenant in the artillery to the southwest of France. His origin, of course, we can't forget it. Poor Corsican, still thinking himself as an outsider. He's been educated in Autun, enough French to argue back. Brienne gave him the discipline, the maths. He learned all about Plutarch and Caesar. He learned leadership, and of course, his garden and the snow fort. Then we had the École Militaire, the advanced mathematics, artillery foundations, and professional soldiering. The old regime, the world around him, is still standing, but its foundations are cracked. The revolution of France is just a few years away. The boy who arrived in France, unable to speak the language, properly now commands guns, the most technical, unforgiving arm of the army. He doesn't yet command history. That part starts when the monarchy collapses, the republic rises, and a young artillery officer finds himself...
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Come on, Lear! Where was I? I was over here. That part all starts when the monarchy collapses, the republic rises, and a young artillery officer finds himself on the ramparts of a rebellious port on the Mediterranean. Next week, we'll be going into part 3 of our rise and fall of Napoleon. And there, it's all about Toulon. We learn about cannons, revolution, and the moment when Napoleon stops being just an officer and starts becoming a problem for everyone else. The aircraft we'll fly next week is the A1 Skyraider, armed to the teeth, as we will explore regions from Marseille down into Toulon in much nicer weather than this, I can assure you. So it's all starting to happen. You know, our nice little calm, peaceful introduction of what was happening. How are you, Lear? It's going to get mad next week. Last week was our introduction. What's going on? This week we learn about that transition from how did he go from being just a young fella in Corsica to being, you know, your man with the hat, right? And it was this schooling, this upbringing, this section of his life was so important. Be it the education, the structuring, you know, the bullying, right? But also the political turmoil. His dad managed to secure him that special King's Scholar. It's like an aid. It's like a government grant given to the aristocracy who had strong names but no money. It's a fascinating thing to think, Jesus, if his dad didn't get him that, Napoleon wouldn't have been able to get to this. It's mad. And when you look at the characters throughout history, you know, not necessarily kind of dictators of that, but kind of emperors perhaps, or kings, or even politicians. They're so very kind of small, insignificant things that happen. Yet, if they didn't happen, it would have changed everything. Everything. You know, and for Napoleon, people will always say, you know, the victors get to rewrite, or the victors choose history. They, you know, what's that? There's a saying, but effectively the victor creates history, right? Their version sticks, the victors. So Napoleon always kind of had a bit of a bad rep in the English-speaking world. And he had it on the French side as well, don't get me wrong. He also had a very good rep on the English-speaking world, and of course that on the French. Napoleon is a very interesting character. You can kind of have that discussion about being good or bad. And when you contrast or compare Napoleon to others similar, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan to an extent, Napoleon, and then much later on when it came to Hitler, well, you can't have the same conversations. Was he good or was he bad? Napoleon, you can have that conversation because he's done things throughout his life that would make you consider, right now, Jesus, that was a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes him fascinating, I think. And again, like prior to this Monday night special that we're doing, to the victor goes the spoils. Good man, CP. History is written by the victors. Yeah, that's the one. Like prior to me learning, and like a lot of learning goes into this, because I'm fascinated by it. I enjoy it. This isn't work. Like I'm loving this, right? It's only when you start learning about it more and more and more, you can see how, you know, history has a terrible habit of repeating itself all the friggin' time. All the time. We're always repeating ourselves throughout the ages. Very similar things happen, right? But how kind of civilization behaves when there's a vacuum in power or when there's an explosion of power, it's all these things that kind of go into it. And yet, it's the finer details that blow my mind. The finer details, the most insignificant things. Here was a child at the age of 11 or 12 building a snow fort during a winter that was so harsh they wanted to keep everyone inside. Here he is outside building fortifications and creating war games with his pals, taking command of people, building his own little legions and regiments and all this sort of jazz. He's given a garden. You know, most of the lads decorate a couple of plants, maybe a few flowers. Right, come on, football. How you go? Right? Napoleon fortifies it. Palisade fencing. Trees, blocks, everyone from outside. This becomes his fort. A fort. It's amazing. Cornwolf, good to see you, buddy. Those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. Yeah. France here, Napoleon is one of the greatest French who ever lived. There you go, Godwin Zeus. It's mad, isn't it? I wish my university professors were half as well prepared and entertaining. Thanks. I love history. I get very boring over dinner with a glass of wine, but I love it. It's fascinating. And I gotta say, lads, with Microsoft Flight Sim, in particular Microsoft Flight Sim, because we have these group flights, isn't it amazing that we can utilize aviation and flight simulation in a way that we're flying aircraft, we're community driven, going, places, and you're able to kind of observe and learn the history, and then literally look out your digital window and say, well, Jesus, that's where it was. That's where it happened. We don't get that opportunity unless, of course, we're well travelled, or you have an opportunity to travel and all this. The sim is so good for that, What was Napoleon's hand size out of interest? Smaller than mine, Lear, I'll have you know. That study that says that men think about the Roman Empire an average 14 times a day? Yeah, that was just me, probably. Yeah. Brilliant. Murph, this is a bit of a high-bye from me. Mr. Dan, good to see you. I would like to echo the history point, the research and dedication you put in. Dude, not at all. Thank you very much. I love this stuff, lads. We flew over the spot. Jesus. But it's mad. We've seen this with the Gallic War stuff we've done. Nightstep is a huge help there, because he's and this is the thing, he's visited a lot of these places, and I'm sure when we're traveling on this series of Napoleon, as the series progresses, lads, right, to give you an idea, and I write show notes, and I've tons of sources, and if anyone's interested, I can post all of this when it's finished. We're up to page 78 with 25,000 friggin' words, but and it'll go a little bit more. For each episode, I go off and research that timeline, and then I write down notes. I start compiling it together. I say, right, here's all my notes. Right, here's the gist of the story. I horse maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs at a time into ChatGPT or Gemini and say, right, highlight, give me the bullet points of these. I get back the bullet points, and that's how I kind of script. So I'll go for and once I know where the story I need to talk about, sure, it's easy dragging the notes, right? The AI stuff is fierce handy for that. But anyway, next week we head down to Toulon. We're going to be down by Marseille and Provence, right? And we're taking the Sky Raider. After that, it's off to northern Italy, Lodi and Milan, right? We'll learn all about what happened there. Episode 5, we're out to Egypt, Cairo and the lot, the Rosetta Stone, right? Then we're off. Then we're back to Paris, but we're going to do Paris proper. Today we're just going to land in Paris Orly, which is south of the city. We won't see much. We're going to land there, and good luck to you now. But we're coming back in a few weeks' time, flying helicopters, to really get a sense of all the sites. A lot of the sites that are in Paris. Well, you'll see how they all link back to Napoleon. They're fascinating, right? And that's kind of where the emperor kind of ascends, you see. Part 7 then, we're over to Spain, where we deal with the Spanish ulcer. Part 8, we're off to Russia. In particular, we're going to Moscow. And an interesting part of the world, it's in flight simming or even content, people have stayed away there. Our reasons, of course, purely historical. And it is a fascinating city, and the history, right? So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm incredibly looking forward to that one. In actual fact, we're going to be flying the Starship when we go to Moscow. That's going to be a barrel of laughs. Sheremetyevo, isn't that the airport, I think, out there? Or Vukovo? I'll need to work up my Russian. Anyway, then it's out to Belgium, over the fields of Waterloo, and then finally St. Helena, the crown of thorns, if you like, and that's way out in the South Atlantic. So we'll see a lot of you know, we'll see a lot of ground here. We'll see a lot of different areas. And of course, the aircraft we get to fly in are brilliant as well. Couldn't tell you the last time I brought out a Cessna for a spin. She's flying really nice tonight, isn't it? Will we see any Romans? Romans? Hey, Sergeant Staff, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Long time no see. On my sim, you're in a Sky Raider tonight. Oh, Jesus. Just going for a short time then. Yeah. I asked AI about the hands and I got this. Beautiful hands. His hands were often described by contemporaries as quite beautiful, delicate and well formed. Wait, me or Napoleon? You know, have you thought about doing a series on Churchill or Montgomery? I have. So, I have a couple of things, like, there's loads, lads. I'll bore the crap out of you now, but like, some of the stuff I've worked on, the Silk Road, Marco Polo's expedition, Genghis Khan, or at least some of what the Khans did, the Mongols. I've started into Irish history, but I want to go back. I don't want to start at just, we say, the Troubles, or I don't want to start just at the Easter Rising or rebellions. I want it, it'll all be built into it, just to give a broader picture, but I won't, like, you won't drag the arse out of it. It'll be done similar to this, right? Because I want to go back to kind of like the start of Ireland, ancient Ireland, up to the Vikings, and then we go on into the Middle Ages, and then we go into the, you know, Wolftown 1798. The French are helping out the Irish at the time, lead a rebellion against the British. It was said Napoleon, if Ireland had, very similar to what happened in history, for Ireland to seek the assistance of France, it was said Napoleon had said, I would make such an incredible inconvenience to the English if I were to invade Ireland. But even Napoleon had said his plan, he would conquer Ireland, he would conquer England, and make them both republics. Right? And then much later on in life, the same question was said to the Germans. Operation Green, right? It's Sea Line, which was the German invasion, but Operation Green, I think it was called. And that idea was the Germans are going to invade Ireland and to use that as the back door, if you like, to get into the UK. But I think it was said Hitler had said he would only do so if requested by the Irish government. That request never came, right? So it's interesting, timelines and whatnot. But what else do we have? There's loads, lads. There's loads. But it's cool. I have a good audiobook on Irish history from the 1500s. Ooh, Linny, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, there's a great the Irish history podcast is very, very good. Like, I'm learning all about Flan Sinna at the moment and Clonmacnoise, and that's all around the Vikings, and Brian Baru in there, of course, and even before that, how did the Irish get here, and fascinating stuff. Ireland is like, the amount of stuff Ireland has, we don't know, we know very little of it, but it had everything. Ireland was a land of tribes and kingdoms all over the shop. And, over time then there was a big kind of a race to get to, like, the King of Ireland and all this. Flan Sinna is a very interesting fella, but we'll get into all of that. The Irish invented Irish history. Oh, wait. Telling you now, Gibbo. No, but the Irish stuff is, as I say, you go back far enough, it gives you a much broader picture, and because even, like, to some people I would chat to, today, and, Irish history or European history or whatnot, they are missing some critical, crucial points, and it's not really known in a lot of places. But for example, I mean, Ireland, or the Irish, or at least the Celts, the Celts, to even say the Celts isn't technically correct, but like, the Irish were invading the west coast of England and Wales for centuries. Centuries. We were raiding it, pillage, capturing, for centuries, long before any trouble started, so it's quite mad. French was in Connaught, yes. The French landed in a couple of places along the west coast of Ireland during the 1798 rebellion. Theobald Wolftown, Father Murphy, and all these characters. That's why you have Wolftown Quay in Dublin, for example, or Wolftown Bridge. There's a lot of, like, the history is, and the Spanish came up as well, of course, the Spanish Armada, and then a lot of the buildings in Ireland, the fortifications, the Marbello Towers, a lot of these were defences against the French The British come over here to make sure that the French couldn't utilise. Not too far from me in Banagher, down by the River Shannon, there's fortifications. Shannon Bridge, for example, Shannon Harbour. Gibbo, do you remember we went to Shannon Harbour with the bridge and the fortification? They were all British fortifications. And that was to stop the French. They were designed to stop the French. And then when you look at the River Shannon and its importance, even during the 1916 rising and how things are transported around the country, Guinnesses operated them, sure. That's how they got Guinnesses out of friggin' James's Gate down the country. They used the canals and rivers. Anyway, you go back far enough. Well, the River Shannon was once the highway of Ireland. It was the only way you could actually get through the country. Ireland had 90-odd% coverage of trees. And to put that into comparison, today, there's only about 3 or 4% of the island is covered in trees. Go back, 1400 years ago, the high 90s, there was trees everywhere, you couldn't move. So the River Shannon was the highway. And the River Shannon could be traversed by boats. And who had the boats? The Vikings. I better go back to work, Murph. Have a great stream. Sergeant Staff, I hope you're well, my dude. You can take care. He had me on boat. I couldn't escape the history lesson. All I saw were cows. Brilliant. Good old Spanish sailors, right? Ireland was much greener back then, I can assure you. Yeah. But anyway, we're kind of going, the French stuff, Napoleon, it is a single person, that single entity in what he managed to do. In a country so big, on a continent so vast. Crazy. Cheers, Mr. Dan. You're very kind. Where is this now? Gibbo remembers the Battle of 1665, right? That was A1 Charlton. Oh wait, the Spanish saying Pedro. I'm Pedro. Yeah, remember that? The snapper. Me sim is under pressure. She's giving out to us, lads. But anyway, we are about to land here at Paris Orly Airport, default airport, I think. Take your time. The stutterage is real. There's Stu Snape, look. He's looking well, isn't he? Man, Stu. Right, what we'll do, we won't land immediately. We'll do kind of a high-level tour, because, lads, it's only 10:10. We're early. Even after all my delays. So, let's not just land. Let's keep going. We'll head up over the Paris region and get an idea, before all the crack starts. And they go off and they build this piece of machinery to deal with how to deal with things. It'll send a shiver up your spine, I tell you. It'll shock you to your very core. And it was built specifically to deal with the mess that's about to happen over the next couple of years. The guillotine, as it's pronounced. But anyway, we're going to head up this neck of the woods. We're going to go in over Paris because this is going to be a good experiment. We might get a crash to desktop. We may not. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But what we will do, as we're flying, we'll press some buttons. Where is this now? Dealing with things to build the things to deal with the things because the things need dealing with. That's exactly right, Lear. Lear has it, you see. The man learns quick. Right. Where is this now? I'm going to now for Muse, if I play that, I think Muse fan would genuinely fall out with me. Mother of Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
Hang on a second. Where's that? Hang on a second. I better not play that. Muse would genuinely fall out with me. Everyone's saying goodnight now because I went for Christmas songs. Where is that now? Where is this now? Hang on. Wasn't the... Not it.
Time to pull the big switch, good buddy.
The timing of that! And I'm here playing Christmas songs. Did you ever hear this from Frank Kelly? Chewie, you're very welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you had an awesome stream. We were chatting about the 7-3. Hope you enjoyed it. Chewbacca is in the house. Welcome aboard. Guys, thank you so very much indeed for the raid. We're here doing something terribly interesting. Yes, learning history. All about Napoleon. And tonight we learned about his schooling days. Yes, in Autun and Brienne. And we're here now about to ramble into Paris.
Myself.
But you're very welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. And yeah, the main story tonight, it's like the news all over again. We were there, we started last week from Corsica, learning all about Napoleone Bonaparte, and you know, his transition from Corsica into France. He went to school in Autun to learn French. He went to the academy in Brienne to get proper schooling, and then he went over to the military college in Paris. This was set up by King Louis XV, where he studied here and learned him some artillery. And he graduated from the college, which is just out the road here, and got to the rank of second lieutenant. And this is all prior, of course, to the French Revolution, but that's all bubbling away in the background. So our flight tonight was that transition of school, and next week, when we continue this series, is going to be on his first kind of major deployment. He goes down to Toulon when the crack starts, and yeah. And he was tone deaf. Wait, what? Who? But yeah, it's. I had to go off and learn an awful lot, and I'm fascinated by Napoleon. The movie that came out was a bit, you know, some things they got right, some things, you know, the editor, well, he need right, but in gen, you know, there's enough going on. But as we're flying, we're here in Carenado Cessna, well, CT210N, based of course on the 210 Centurion, the turbo variant. It's a big machine, and it's a multiplayer flight. We've turned the weather to Christmassy, and yeah, artistic licensing for the movie. Then yes, indeed. Some part now, your man Joaquin Phoenix, great job, like a brilliant actor. But yeah, certainly parts of it were a bit like, really, did it really, you know? But yeah, look, apart from that, it was it's still a good movie, right? But where we're kind of cruising now, I was about to play the Christmas Countdown by Frank Kelly. If you don't know who Frank Kelly is, he played, of course, Father Jack in Father Ted, you see. And I could bore the bejesus out of you now, but you need to listen to it because it's educational. Dear Nula, Gubnet o' lunacy, right? So we'll listen to this as we fly around Paris. It's very fitting, I think. So if you've never heard that before, consider yourselves educated, right? It's they play that every year in Ireland, and it's Frank Kelly, who of course played Father Jack amongst other roles, right? Only Twitch can hear the music. Yeah. Only Twitch can hear it. That's just how it is, lads. But MuseFan dropped a link into the YouTube chat, or did he? Hang on, I'll grab that now, Muse. And if you're on YouTube, lads, click on the link here and have a listen to it. Meanwhile, both Chewie and Chewbacca were like, what? What is this? Right? Murphy, I mean, listen, we know you've issues, fella, but like, really, you know? But yes. Have a listen. The link has gone through there now. Have a listen to it. It's very good. It's okay, Muse. It's all right. Right, we're going to plan landing here now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's have a quick look. Autopilot coming off. We're a little bit high, but we can... There's a version of that in Canada. It's not safe for work, really. All right, let's take this one in nice and easy. Runway 25. Keen Lafford, good to see you. Currently recovering from every illness known to man after spending a weekend performing magic at a farm. Keen, I've had the man flu myself. It's on the retreat though. Great news. Big Carlo, hope you're well. Right, speed coming down. Just forward that to your husband. Our surname was changed when Napoleon occupied Holland. Really? Oswald Zimmer Shane says, thanks for the stream, Murph. Off to school run. Not for me, of course, but for Junior Oz. Although the wifey thinks I need to go back to school. Shane, we'll catch you later, bud. And, oh, Jason, very high. I'll go this way a bit. We'll catch you later and for the stream. Best of luck with it, bud. People are flying very fast. Murph wants to see those 8 maids of Hilton. Goodness o' lunacy. Brilliant, right? Brilliant. So we set ourselves up here for landing. I'm busy now tomorrow, lads. I've no stream tomorrow unless I get back very early, but I'm actually going up to Weston tomorrow, Weston Aerodrome, to look at the simulators. That could be fun. There's a good chance. Well, yeah, there's a good chance I'll break them, you know. So I have to get up early in the morning. I'm driving. Ugh. And if the weather's not nice enough for flying, I don't think it is anyway. Now, if I get up there and it changes, I'll go out for a cheeky flight. But the weather tomorrow, the forecast is not looking great. I have not flown in Weston in years. But it's more the sims I want to kind of have a now look at up there, you know. Stream from there then. We will at some stage. I'm fairly sure of it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. They have a couple of full size simulators up there. So yeah, it could be interesting. So apart from a couple of stutters tonight, lads, I think our L210 handled quite nice. Marv, is there a Piper PA-32 available? What do you mind just bought one in real life? A PA-32. What's the Indian name of it? A PA-32. A 24 is a Comanche. A 28 is an Arrow. Oh, Cherokee 6. A Cherokee 6. Is that a twin engine? A Cherokee 6. Single engine. I'm not aware of one. I am not aware of a single engine but big. Like a PA-32, is that like very closer to like something like an M500, a Meridian? No? Is it closer to a Meridian? Just older, I think. Like an M500 or M600 or... PA-32 is just a bigger PA-28. Ah, Dougal, good to see you, bud! Uniform Goose, multiplayer's playing up for you? Uh-oh. Smaller, less... Piper's equivalent to a Bonanza. Ah. Spare by like homing 0540. Big engine. 6 seats. I'm not aware of a PA-32, lads. Unless you are. In the sim? Don't think so. Cherokee 6. Memory serves me. Didn't Carenado do one of those? In like P3D or something? I think. Notch flaps. Haven't seen one. Would be good for Just Flight to make one. No, they did a 30, a 38 and a 28. Okay. Unfortunately, not so, Picarlo. All right, runway 25. Black square, maybe. Yeah. Did you see the video HOA put out, Scott? The Aerostar, he's the wings taken off it. Using it for freight back in the day for late night flight. Oh, really? Nice. Somewhere known as a Lance, retractable gear versus fixed. Oh, nice, okay. Alrighty. Looking good in approach. Again, we have a bit of a displaced threshold here, so we can just time this nicely. Speed is looking good, 90 knots. Friends owns a Lance, very nice aircraft. Like a Lance Air or a Lance? Alright, flaps are set, gear is down, prop full, mixture rich. A Lance, okay. Interesting. I've never, to be honest, I'm sure if I saw a picture I'd be like, oh yeah. But I haven't flown one, nor am I aware of one in the sim.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Stu Snape, the man has timing. Jesus. Right, easy now. Hold the nose. A little bit early on the flare. Hold the nose. Lead it off. Touchdown. Alright. Welcome to Paris. Flaps in. Alright, alright. Aviation Consumer Used Aircraft Guide. Saratoga Lance. Or Lance. Gotcha now, gotcha now. Had a feeling that was coming. His timing is unbelievable. Right, easy now there, Jemima. Alright. Well, the ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. That was a very nice, chilled out, relaxing flight, I have to say, as we arrive here into Paris. Next week, of course, we change gears significantly, taking some military aircraft. I'm going to be flying in the Sky Raider as we're heading down towards the south of France, Marseille, Provence region, and we're going to be heading over to Toulon. And we're going to learn about some of the mastery that Napoleon was able to deploy in the battlefield, this being one of the very first examples of it. And all the turmoil and everything is starting to go to boiling point. And next week is very much where it all kicks off. And from there, then, we go on to part 4, 5, brings us to Egypt. It's moving fast, this new Monday night series. It's definitely moving fast. But I want to thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in, for the support, for keeping me company, and for putting up with the man flu escapades. But yes, it's always better when you get to stream. Massive shout out to Chewy for the lovely raid, and guys, thank you very, very much indeed. Very, very kind. And yeah, looking forward to seeing some more PMDG 737 content for sure over the coming days. And of course, once it releases, we'll get an old blast. We'll have to go flying with it soon. So yeah, no stream tomorrow. I'm above in Weston. Wednesday night we have the news. It'll be busy. Thursday, a double header. We're going to be doing more Navigraph Academy, and then we're taking the DC-6 for a jaunt on our VATSIM Thursday flight. Looking forward to that. And then on Friday night, we're off to Newfoundland for a new adventure. So looking forward to that as well. So lads, thank you all so very, very much indeed. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Enjoy tomorrow. And we'll catch you back then on Wednesday. And of course, next week we'll revisit. We'll leave Napoleon here. You know, everything's well in his world. Well, sort of, apart from losing his dad. But in terms of his career, relatively okay. But that'll all start changing next week. So until then, you take care.
It's all right.
Hey, Rambog is here. Good to see you, man. Did I miss anyone else? Oh, Jesus, watch what you're doing, Murphy. I know! The dreaded chat! I know! See what happens? Did you see it? Collider is here. Into beta, reversers, flaps in. Get out of beta. Get out of the beta. Ah! That's weird, the throttle doesn't move.
Hey, good money.
Jerry Coogan, many thanks for the follow. Hang on, we need to get out of beta. No, that's backwards, Murph. Uh-oh. Get out of... Oh, we nearly tipped it over, lads. You see it? Jesus. Why won't you get out of beta, you devil? Your controls are no longer agreeing with me. Right. What's it doing now? Not as beta. Stupid thing. Stop reversing. Ah, you need to go forwards. Oh no, oh god, oh dear!